Johnny wouldn't have did nothing better than what I got in my mind, which I don't understand. Johnny wanted to put some smile in my mind because he didn't want to go the sides that I didn't want to go to because he didn't want to do what I wanted to do for the money.
Word on the street is that right after a crew tied to the Houston Crips stepped into Dang's shop with receipts, diamond testers, and phones rolling, things got loud real fast.
I don't want no free. He wanted to give me some free shit that was way smaller than me.
Multiple rappers, including Sauce Walker, started clowning Dang heavy, turning the whole situation into a public spectacle that spread like wildfire online. This showdown went down in broad daylight, right in front of employees, and it ended with a twist nobody expected from the so-called King of Bling, the pull-up itself.
Yeah, I'm finna take these to the side of me.
Johnny Dang built his whole reputation on one thing: trust. Rappers, athletes, street figures. All kinds of big names hit up his Houston spot on Richmond Avenue because they believed every piece was legit and worth every dollar. For over 20 years, that trust was everything. The diamonds, the grills, the chains, his entire empire stood on that foundation. But in mid-April 2026, a group linked to one of Texas's most feared Crip sets decided they weren't buying it anymore. And they made that clear in person. They didn't call ahead, didn't send any legal warning, didn't file paperwork. They showed up themselves, deep and ready, receipts in hand, proof of what they paid and what they were promised. They brought the exact chains and jewelry they got from that store. No confusion, no mix-up. And they came equipped with diamond testers, handheld tools meant to tell real stones from anything fake or off.
Johnny wanted to put some smile in my mind. I don't want no free. He wanted to give me some free shit that was way smaller than me. I don't want no free.
Phones were recording every second, capturing the tension as it unfolded. The claims they made right there in the shop were bold and straight to the point. They told Johnny Dang, or whoever was speaking for him, that the diamonds in their pieces weren't what they were sold. The receipts claimed natural stones, high-grade clarity, VVS rated. That was the deal they thought they locked in. But when they tested those pieces on the spot, right there in front of everyone, things didn't look right. Stones that should have checked out as natural high-grade diamonds were acting strange. Inconsistent readings, some even showing signs tied to lab-grown stones. Others showed signs that looked even worse. Some pieces didn't just test weird, they came off like lower-grade material altogether. A few chains reportedly had gold plating wearing down, exposing base metal underneath, which raised even more eyebrows. Multiple hip-hop YouTube channels covering the situation described the energy inside that store as explosive. Voices jumping from calm to heated in seconds, tension thick in the air. This wasn't about small change either. The group had dropped serious money, tens of thousands of dollars gone. Some reports claimed individual pieces ranged anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 or even higher. And now they felt played, not in some back alley, not in a robbery setup, but right across a jewelry counter with a handshake and a receipt that was supposed to mean something. What really made this situation stand out from a normal complaint was what didn't happen.
Wanted to give me some free shit that was way smaller than me. I don't want no free. I want my money and I want to go over the top, best of the best, biggest of the biggest, make it work.
Dang, or whoever was speaking for the store, allegedly didn't shut it all down with a full denial. According to reports moving through hip-hop media, there was some level of acknowledgement that something might have gone wrong. Talk of possible quality control issues started floating around, and that alone changed everything. That one detail, no strong denial, turned this from a private dispute into a full-blown viral story. It spread fast across rap gossip pages, forums, and reaction channels, with everyone picking sides and asking questions. Still, things didn't turn physical. No weapons, no fights breaking out. The group made their point, ran their tests, recorded everything they needed, and then walked out. The store stayed open, no police showed up, no one got arrested. But the footage? That allegedly hit the internet within hours, and drama channels wasted no time breaking it all down. This wasn't just some random pop-up situation either. It felt like the street-level explosion of tension that had been building in Houston's jewelry scene for a while. Quiet doubts, small rumors, and side comments had been stacking up until people who don't usually handle problems in court decided to confront it face-to-face. To really understand why they pulled up like that, testers, receipts, cameras rolling, you have to rewind to where the doubt first sparked. It traces back to a flashy $1 million grill, a dentist chair, and a friendship that lasted 2 decades before falling apart. That's when Sauce Walker made it clear he was done with the man who helped build his image.
Yeah, I'm finna take these to the side of me. It go back wall. It go.
Sauce Walker's 20-year connection tells the real story. If there's one person who cracked open the questions around Johnny Dang in 2026, it's him. Not because he was the first to ever have doubts, those whispers had been moving quietly for years, but because he did what most people in his position never do. He said it out loud, made it public, and made sure everybody heard it in a city where Johnny Dang's name holds serious weight. Their relationship wasn't casual. It ran deep for over 2 decades. We're talking custom pieces, long-term deals, and the kind of loyalty that only builds when someone looks out for you before fame hits and keeps that same energy after. Sauce wasn't just another customer walking in off the street. He was part of the image, a walking showcase of what Johnny Dang's brand represented in Houston. As Sauce's rap career climbed, the jewelry got bigger and louder. A $500,000 Cuban link chain, not a regular purchase at all. That deal was so major, it went down inside a Chase Bank, with Johnny Dang personally delivering the piece. Both of them posted that moment proudly, showing the world just how strong their business relationship really was. Then came another huge move, a $300,000 diamond purchase after Sauce survived a shooting in Memphis. It was a celebration of still being here, marked the way he knew best, through flashy, high-value jewelry. Over 20 years, Sauce himself said he spent millions building a connection that looked unbreakable from the outside. But things shifted in mid-2024. Sauce Walker made a bold move and switched jewelers, and that's when attention really started turning. The new name? Jose Mata, also known as Plug Gio. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Gio wasn't just any jeweler, he used to work under Johnny Dang before leaving back in April 2021. When Sauce wanted his next big piece, a $1 million permanent diamond grill loaded with over 50 carats, he went straight to Gio, and he didn't move in silence either.
There'd be times where I would ask him and beg him, be like, hey bro, look, I made you $9 million in a year. Just give me 4% commission.
The way Sauce explained that decision hit hard, because it wasn't just about sizing issues or simple complaints. There's something in that moment that goes deeper than a basic critique. Sauce never straight up said Dang sold him fake pieces. That's not the claim he made. But the tone, the choice to switch, and how publicly he did it, that's what really got people talking and started shifting the conversation in a major way. In that moment, Sauce was making something clear. He was saying Dang wouldn't go as big as he wanted, even with serious money on the table. Instead, Dang allegedly tried to steer him towards something smaller, even offering a piece for free rather than taking on $1 million custom job.
He said, oh, I'm gonna give you a $2 raise. I only get paid $10 an hour because I get paid 2% commission every month. What the f is a $2 raise gonna do for me and my kids, bro?
The Sauce, that didn't feel like good business. It felt like disrespect, like he was being managed instead of actually listened to, like someone else was deciding his limits without even asking what he wanted. That line, I want my money and I want to go over the top, says everything about his mindset. This is someone who built his image by going big every time, spending millions to stand out, and expecting his jeweler to match that energy.
Everybody who's watching, if you got anything from Johnny, check because that boy be putting that C in y'all.
So when that didn't happen, it hit deeper than just a disagreement over size. It felt like the effort behind his brand wasn't being taken seriously anymore. But that disagreement was only the surface. When things picked up again in March 2026, the conversation shifted fast. Channels covering the situation pulled up another Sauce Walker clip, and this time, the tone changed completely, moving away from service complaints and stepping into much heavier accusations. Sauce started laying out his position more clearly. He pointed to his status as a top-level client, someone spinning at the level of names like Floyd Mayweather.
And I've had several clients who come in and they'll be like, bro, why my shit tested CBD? Well, I don't fucking know. Y'all gotta ask Johnny, bro. That's Johnny's production.
And with that came an expectation. If you're investing that kind of money, you expect top-tier quality in return. What he suggested next pushed things even further. Sauce wasn't just talking about his own experience. He hinted at a pattern. Rappers who once wore Johnny Dang pieces suddenly stopped showing them off or quietly switched jewelers. According to Sauce, that wasn't random. He framed it as a sign of growing dissatisfaction behind the scenes. By March 2026, his claims got even more direct. Sauce publicly alleged that many of those pieces were set with CVD lab-grown diamonds but sold at prices meant for natural stones. He claimed this wasn't a mistake. He suggested Dang knew exactly what was being sold. To him, that crossed the line completely. He called it robbery, saying after spending millions, he came to believe the VVS natural diamonds he thought he was getting were actually lab-made and priced like they came straight from the earth. And then Sauce said something that made everything heavier. He said the receipts were coming. That line alone had the Houston rap scene on pause for a second. People got quiet, then started side-eyeing their own chains, wondering what they were really wearing. But here's the twist. Before Sauce ever spoke publicly, someone else had already said something similar years earlier. Not just anybody either. This was someone speaking from the inside. He made those claims 5 years before all this noise, and once 2026 hit, that old footage came back around and hit harder than ever. This is why Sauce's accusations didn't feel like regular rap drama. There was already a witness on record, not a fan guessing, not a rival throwing shots, someone who had actually been inside Johnny Dang's operation at a high level. That man, Plug Gio, also known as Jose Mata, the same jeweler Sauce later trusted with a $1 million permanent grill. According to his own account, Gio generated $9 million in revenue in just 1 year while working there. Then in April 2021, he walked away, but he didn't leave quietly. Gio went on camera and made serious claims. He said the business was sourcing CVD lab-grown diamonds and selling them as high-end natural VVS stones at full natural diamond prices.
Where my money, man? I need my money. Where the money at? Auto rapper too. Sean Skinton, Richard Kid. I need my money, man. Yeah.
That's a major difference, especially when customers believe they're paying for something rare pulled from the earth. Most of those customers, rappers, athletes, big spenders, had the money, but not always the technical tools to verify what they were getting. And that's where things get tricky. Standard handheld diamond testers, they can't tell the difference between lab-grown and natural stones. Both pass the test the same way. Without proper certification like a GIA report confirming natural origin or advanced equipment that can read the growth patterns inside a diamond, there's really no easy way for a buyer to know. And that gap, that's exactly what made these claims hit so hard and spread so fast. The numbers Gio laid out made the whole situation sound cold but calculated. A natural 2-carat diamond, depending on the cut and clarity, could cost a jeweler $20,000 or more just to source. But a lab-grown stone that looks almost identical, same shine, same hardness, same carbon makeup, could be picked up for as low as $3,000 to $5,000. Now think about that gap. If a customer is dropping $100,000 on a chain believing it's filled with natural diamonds, but those stones are actually lab-grown, the profit margin jumps like crazy. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars extra on just one piece. Stack that across multiple high-ticket items over several years, and those numbers get massive real fast.
Sauce, how long we know each other, man? Over some 20 years. I never gave you for free, and I never asked for free you know?
Gio's personal story added even more weight to what he was saying. He claimed he brought in $9 million in revenue for the store in just 1 year. And when it came time to talk commission, he said he asked for 4%, but was only offered 2%, along with a small hourly raise. He even said it plainly. I made you $9 million in a year. Just give me 4% commission. He would give me 2% commission. And then when I asked him for a raise, he said, oh, I'm gonna give you a $2 raise. That frustration was clear. Back in 2021, that clip could have been brushed off as a former employee venting after a bad split. But by 2026, the context changed everything. Now, this wasn't just some random complaint. This was the same jeweler a longtime Dang client trusted with a $1 million piece. That shift made people look at Gio differently. Instead of just being upset, it started to seem like he might have had real insight into how things were running behind the scenes. Like he saw something he didn't want to be part of and decided to step away completely.
I special design, very special. Make sure it precise, good side of the diamond, smooth, so it not be too heavy, too chunky, so you go into wear it for another years without messing your mouth.
Then there's the Lil Durk angle, which played out differently. His comments weren't aimed at Johnny Dang specifically. They came off more like general warnings about the jewelry game as a whole. Advice to be careful, to verify what you're buying, and to understand the risks in an industry where appearances can be deceiving. Lil Durk's situation told a completely different story. He actually had a solid, documented relationship with the shop. He got permanent grills done there himself, and you could see the comfort every time he stepped inside. Durk walking into Johnny Dang's store like it's his second home doesn't look like tension. It looks like trust. That kind of energy isn't coming from someone with issues. It's coming from someone who's been taken care of. There's even footage of Durk inside the store, relaxed and showing love, basically giving a public cosign without hesitation. But by the time everything started heating up, that distinction didn't carry much weight anymore, because the conversation had already shifted into something way bigger. At that point, it wasn't about one rapper's chain being real or fake anymore. The real question people started asking was much deeper. Was there a larger gap between what customers were told and what they were actually getting in their jewelry? That's the kind of question that shakes everything. And the wild part? That question had technically been sitting out in the open since 2021. It was right there in an old on-camera interview, just waiting for the right moment to blow up again. Sauce Walker's very public switch to Geo brought that moment to life. It pulled everything back into focus. But even that wasn't the full picture. There was another layer to this situation, a technical issue so basic that it explains how something like this could go unnoticed for so long, and it connects back to an old Chief Keef video, one that a lot of people misunderstood. When the Sauce Walker situation started spreading, the internet quickly brought back a clip from July 2014. Chief Keef was inside a mall jewelry shop, holding a handheld diamond tester up to his Johnny Dang pendant, and watch. The device lit up green, and that moment took off online again. The caption he used back then stuck with people.
And for free. Nothing but love, man. You, one of the few rappers I've been knowing for over 20 years.
When you see green, who's smart enough to know what that means? That line became part of the conversation all over again. Back in 2014, that was a strong flex. It shut down anyone doubting whether a young rapper from Chicago had real diamonds. But here's the part people started rethinking. That green light didn't actually prove everything people thought it did. It confirmed the stones reacted like diamonds, but it didn't break down whether they were natural or lab-grown. And that detail, that's where the whole situation starts getting a lot more complicated than it first looked. Back then, Keef posted the results and kept it moving like it was nothing. But by 2026, that same clip hit completely different. The channels covering the Johnny Dang situation didn't bring it back to hype Keef up. They used it to highlight a serious flaw at the center of all these accusations. Here's the real issue. Those standard handheld diamond testers, the kind you see in mall jewelry spots and regular stores, are built to do one job and one job only. They can tell if a stone is a diamond or not with decent accuracy. They'll catch cubic zirconia, moissanite, glass, and other lookalikes instantly. But once you put a real diamond in front of it, any real diamond, it passes every time. That's where things get tricky, because what those testers are not designed to do is tell you where that diamond actually came from. Natural diamonds pulled from the earth and lab-grown CVD diamonds are both made of carbon. At a molecular level, they're almost identical. So when that tester runs heat or electricity through the stone to check conductivity, both types respond the exact same way. That green light, it shows up for both. The device isn't broken. It's just not built to see that difference. At the level it measures, there is no visible difference to detect. So people relying on that green light alone were never getting the full story. To actually separate lab-grown diamonds from natural ones, you need much more advanced verification. Either a GIA certificate that clearly confirms the diamond's origin, not just its quality, but where it came from, or specialized spectroscopic machines that can read the internal growth patterns formed over time. And those machines, they're not sitting around in typical jewelry stores. You won't find them on a counter at a mall shop. Most buyers, even ones spending $50,000, $100,000 or more, aren't walking out with lab-level reports breaking everything down. Most deals end simple. Handshake, receipt, done. No deep verification, no technical breakdown of origin. And when people started reanalyzing that old footage with this knowledge in mind, it became clear that what looked like proof back then didn't actually prove as much as everyone thought.
Success business. Yeah. You don't want to rip them up one day, one time, and try to make quick money. That's why a lot of young business entrepreneurs fail, because they tried so hard to make money so fast.
That clip ended up exposing the exact gap people were starting to question. Those pieces weren't fake in the obvious way. They weren't glass, not cubic zirconia, not cheap knockoffs a basic tester could shut down instantly. They were real diamonds, the kind that passed the test and light up green every time. But here's the problem that changed everything in 2026. That green light never answered the real question people started asking. Were those diamonds natural, or were they lab-grown? And more importantly, were buyers clearly told what they were paying for before dropping natural diamond money? Then came a different voice in the mix, one that didn't come from celebrity headlines. Money Gang Slugger stepped in with a ground-level perspective that cut through all the high-profile noise. He wasn't a superstar name, just a working rapper out of Houston who went into Johnny Dang's shop, spent around $10,000 on a custom piece, and waited 3 full months to get it. His issue wasn't even about the diamonds themselves. It was about the experience. Waiting 90 days for a $10,000 order showed something else. By that point, with big names flooding the shop, smaller clients were getting pushed to the back of the line. That kind of delay didn't sit right with him. So Slugger made a move and went to a completely different jeweler, King Johnny, not Johnny Dang. And once he saw the difference in speed, attention, and overall service, he didn't look back. His situation wasn't about fraud claims, but it still added to the bigger picture. It showed a pattern forming, clients at different levels quietly stepping away and finding better experiences elsewhere. Then things stretched even further. In late March 2026, King Ella went live and added another layer to the conversation. He claimed the concerns around questionable pieces weren't just in Houston anymore. They had reached into O-Block and parts of the Chicago drill scene tied to Lil Durk, King Von, and their circles. Now, to be clear, those claims didn't come with the same level of detailed proof that Sauce Walker or Plug Geo brought to the table, but it still expanded the conversation in a big way. What started as a Houston situation suddenly felt like it might be reaching into one of hip-hop's most visible communities, and that alone kept people watching closely. What the 2026 controversy really exposed, and that old Chief Keef clip made it crystal clear, is that the whole verification system in hip-hop jewelry had a blind spot, a serious one. The industry standard was built to catch fake stones, not to answer a much more specific question like this. Because if the allegation is that lab-grown diamonds were being sold as natural, not fake stones, not cheap substitutes, but real diamonds presented as something more rare, then the usual tools were never going to catch that. Those handheld testers, the green light everyone trusted, they were never designed for that level of detail. So the real question was always deeper than what a simple test could answer. It wasn't, is this a diamond? It was, what kind of diamond is this? And was the buyer told the truth before paying top price? And that's where everything started to unravel. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Johnny Dang didn't go quiet when all this started blowing up. He didn't shut down, disappear, or drop some cold legal statement through a lawyer. Instead, he spoke. But the way he did it had people paying very close attention. The response that spread everywhere came from a 4-part video series he originally posted back in August 2024. Right when Sauce Walker first made that public switch. And the tone. It wasn't loud, it wasn't aggressive, and it definitely wasn't packed with technical breakdowns. It came off more controlled, almost emotional, like someone trying to show they were hurt rather than pressured. And one line from that response stuck everywhere. You don't need to put my name in there, but if you mention my name, put some respect on my name. If not, keep the my name out your mouth. That moment went viral for a reason. He said he reached out privately before things ever went public. Said he even offered to sit down over dinner and handle it face to face. He framed the whole situation like it didn't need to explode the way it did. Like it could have stayed between two people with a 20-year history. But here's what stood out the most. He didn't pull out GIA certificates. He didn't drop lab reports or bring in experts to break everything down on camera. There was no step-by-step proof showing each stone's origin. Instead, he leaned on 2 main points. First, that even experienced buyers can't easily tell the difference between lab-grown and natural diamonds without advanced equipment. And second, that he's always treated his customers fairly. And that's where the story really leaves people split. Because now it's not just about diamonds anymore. It's about trust, transparency, and what people believe really happened behind the scenes. If you made it this far, drop your thoughts below. Which side are you on? Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video, and comment what you think really went down.